I'm just using, firstly, a recording that was done by an acoustic artist just with his bass player at their house. So the idea that you can kind of get away with that is part of what I'm talking about today. And then I've taken that from them and assembled a mix in Logic using various buses and augs just to. Do you cover parallel processing at all? Is that something you're familiar with?
Yeah,
where
we
you
do
might,
teach it.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
Everyone, yeah, sort of an idea, a vague idea of what that is. Mm-hmm. If you've got sort of things running next to each other, you might have, for example, a vocal. And what I've done here in this session is I've got the vocal routed from the channel over here. So that's routed to what I've created, bus 29, and I've got several auxes that are all receiving off bus 29, and they're routing through to bus 31. So what I can do is I can create 5 different processings of that vocal. In one case, I'm compressing it really heavily. In another case, I'm enhancing a certain frequency. Basically, just creating different tonal characters that you then balance together to create the overall sound. That comes through to a master fader, which is then processed itself, and that becomes the fader you'd use to control the overall level of the vocal. So that's something you can apply to just about anything from a guitar to drums. It's a common technique used in drums, or even in this case, I've got a lot of the mix being routed to a bus, and that comes up here. So my mix comes through a bus there, and then it also goes through that one where I've hit it really hard, and I keep that low underneath, and you get the effect of allowing some of the transients through because you've got a nice clean mix that's not being hit too hard, but the sustain gets raised quite heavily by the squashed mix, because if you all know when you hit something really hard, it sort of flattens it out and brings up the overall level. So by bringing that in under the mix, you're creating sort of a feel of loudness, because it's sort of a more continuous sound, but you don't ruin the dynamic you've created. So those are sort of the aspects of using parallel compression, and that can be done with any effect really.